Yeah. That screen, something will be right in my eyes. I almost see. Yeah, like yesterday. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chanda Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Chanda Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chanda Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Actually, I don't have any verse or anything. We're going to read from a book about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. So. Huh? Is yes, yeah, the 3-volume one that Bhaktisiddhanta Swami wrote. Yes, so this is volume 2. No. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj wrote a big biography about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. It was 3-volume set. Bhaktisiddhanta by Baba. Bhaktisiddhanta by Baba. So this is from volume 2. So I'll just read this. We'll read from chapter 4. Preaching to Westerners in India. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta is preaching to Westerners in India. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was eager to preach to Western intellectual and administrative leaders in India. Whenever Westerners visited his mosques, he gave them special attention and wanted that they be decorously welcomed and hosted. For instance, he instructed the young boy Jati Shekhara to attend an Australian visitor to the Purushottama Mat. Serve him, offer him water, Mahaprasadam, see that no disturbance is caused to him. That was his position, especially with Westerners. He was giving special attention. When receiving foreign dignitaries, Srila Saraswati Thakur would have some members of his retinue dressed in an Oriental mode, preferred by many Western-leaning Indians, featuring medium-length black cassocks worn over narrow trousers, plus Western-style leather shoes, booted and suited, as it was known in Bengal. He did not go to meet Western scholars, but as his reputation, he did not go to meet Western scholars, but as his reputation as an extraordinarily lucid and erudite exponent of religious philosophy spread, several came to discuss with him. Among them were Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld from Berlin, Professor Albert E. Southers, occupant of the chair of comparative religion and philosophy at Ohio State University, who remained at Sri Gaudiya Math for about 1 month, associated with Srila Saraswati Thakur, Professor Nixon of Oxford University, and Dr. Stella Crumrich of Calcutta University. Some Western scholars approached Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati out of intellectual curiosity, presuming non-whites incapable of higher thought. Yes. The thing if you were born in India, you were dumb. You're kind of stupid. The Westerners are thinking like that, so they would to hear him because they were curious to see that. Yet he was not even slightly inhibited by the imagined cultural supremacy of Westerners. For with the eye of transcendence, he saw the apparent progress of European civilization as just another place of Maya, and that Krishna consciousness, with its integral Vedic culture, is the eternal and primary necessity of human society. He would try to impress upon them that they were neither Westerners nor rulers, for each were temporary designations, and that the only truly dignified position, the eternal birthright of all, is to be a servant of Krishna's servants, never flinching at Westerners' dialectic probing, he met with them on their own ground, complementing his conviction in Shastra's inerrancy, I think there's no mistakes in Shastra, and his inspired ability to present its message in a manner comprehensible to persons who regarded themselves as of rational disposition. He bombarded intellectual visitors with his encyclopedic knowledge of both modern and traditional thought, and pummeled them with the realized conclusions of the acharyas, propounded not dogmatically, but with impregnable reasoning, demonstrating that Gaudiya Vaishnavism reveals truths unimaginable to most people. Those, which is a Srila Bhaktisiddhanta wrote very intellectual words, so Bhakti Prakash Swami is using the same, striving in the same way here. So hopefully you can understand the language here. Those xenophobes who prided themselves on being natural repositories of learning, philosophy, morals, culture, and God's grace, who took as self-evident the inherent goodness of the white man and the need to wash the heathen in the blood of the Lamb, inevitably had their arguments toppled and their chauvinistic hubris mangled by the transcendental genius of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and became compelled to admit the unthinkable, that they had something to learn from the East. So the Westerners like to put Srila Bhaktisiddhanta down, but Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, besides being a pure devotee of Krishna, he was also had a photographic memory. Anything he read, he never forgot it. Even word by word, he never forgot anything. So he could read entire encyclopedias and anything, and but to speak of Vedic scriptures, and he could give the conclusions very easily to these Western people who didn't have any knowledge, anything like what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had. So in the end, after they took the time to try to hear from him, then he would show them that he and the Vedic knowledge was far greater than anything that they had. So, like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur before him, Srila Saraswati Thakur was confident of capturing Western minds by offering them a systematic philosophical approach and concepts beyond their present range of thought. But first he had to overcome prejudices and stock accusations against aspects of Vedic culture that Westerners considered heretical, absurd, or otherwise indefensible, such as Krishna's immortality, gods with bestial forms, polytheism, having more than one god, demigods, and the practice of sati right. Srila Saraswati Thakur was the only one capable of answering such allegations, which he did with an indomitable ratiocination, and that silenced even the hardest skeptics. So he could convince anyone because he had the perfect answer. Imagine. Okay, so that was going on. This is the next chapter is called Preaching in the West. With Professor Sanyal's Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the book, published on Gaur Purnima, 1933, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati adjudged that the time had come for propagating Mahaprabhu's message in Europe. And on the 10th of April, his dream finally came true when Srimad Bhakti Pradeep Tirtha Maharaj, Srimad Bhakti Hridaya Van Maharaj, and Sangvidananda Prabhu set off by ship from Bombay for London. Srimad B.P. Tirtha Maharaj was naturally pleasing by his winsome and devotional manner, and being elder and staid was deemed immune to the jeopardy of Western influence. The idea that wouldn't become a fall into Maya going into the West. Srimad Van Maharaj was young, sprightly, and dazzling, and a dazzling orator. He spoke very well. And Sangvidananda Prabhu was to pursue a PhD. The missionaries from the heathen East were journeying to the heart of the empire to teach their Christian rulers about God. Underline the ambition and scope of the Gaudiya mission, and geometrically enhanced its prestige among the astonished Indian public. So people, the Indian people were amazed that here are they were amazed to see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta being so bold that he was sending disciples into the West, but it means in this case England. They're bold because the English people were basically trying to make the Indians, reject their Vedic culture. That was very, very heavily preaching and trying to convince the people of India to give up their Vedic culture. And here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta is sending some of his disciples to England to try to preach Krishna consciousness to them. During a Hari Katha in 1932, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had voiced his aspiration and expectation for this difficult undertaking. So this is a quote from Bhaktisiddhanta. Western sovereigns may to some extent appreciate Lakshmi and Sita Devi, but it will take them much time to even begin to understand Sri Radha. Taking the shoes of Rupa and Sanatana on our heads, we are sending men to the West in hope of finding one genuine person through whom the Western world might someday or other be able to realize Mahaprabhu's teachings and the elevated nature of worship of Sri Radha and Krishna. That's the end of the quote. In a valedictory given on 18th March on the occasion of the departure from Calcutta of his overseas emissaries, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati expressed his profound hope for their seemingly impossible success. He briefed them on how they could accomplish their task by being pure and humble devotees, untainted by material attachment. The happy days had come when we were destined to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to distant corners of the earth. The spiritual service that we are dedicated to has passed the bud stage and is now a full-blown flower whose aroma we must carry across the seas, and with the same willingness that characterized Sri Hanuman when he jumped over the wide ocean with Sri Rama's message. The extension of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual gift to foreign countries is our humble offering at his feet. The words of instruction by Sri Gaurasundar are verily his beautiful body. The preachers of his word through the ages are his secondary limbs. His teaching is his potent weapon, and the grace of Sri Hari himself established as Sri Chaitanya's words is his eternal associate. Ergo, for truly presenting Sri Gaurasundar, the Lord of the Gaudiyas, to the aliens, I am addressing these few words to the preachers about to proceed to countries beyond India. So it's trying to. This all is happening when those three preachers are just getting ready to get on the ship and go to England. So he's preaching to them basically. Huh?
I think he also was a German.
Maybe later. But the first one was England. We find the following great precepts, Mahavakyas, in the body of teachings, Vachsafed, to us by the Supreme Master of all masters. Quote, the constant chanting of Hare Kirtan by being far more humble than a blade of grass and forbearing as a tree, by seeking no honor for oneself and by offering due honor to all entities, is the highest natural function of the unalloyed jivas. The lotus feet of my Sri Gurudev attracted me to his service, being he being the manifest form of these four great precepts. My friends will be in a position to attract all souls of the world to the footstool of real knowledge by purchasing the same unfailing method. The crest jewel of the order of sannyasis of the triple staff, Sridhanda Sannyasi, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Goswami Pada, has in the following words taught the same process to those who assume the triple staff of renunciation. I say this while holding the straw between my teeth, falling at your feet, and uttering hundreds of the humblest entreaties. All you good souls, through everything, all you good souls, throwing everything off to a distance, uh, practice love for the feet of Sri Chaitanya, who is surprisingly beautiful. Following in the footsteps of all former devotees, I am treating them to pursue this identical method of propaganda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya is the supreme teacher of all teachers of this world and the ideal possessor of higher intelligence regarding cleaning the mirror of the heart, which he speaks in his 8 precepts, Shikshashtaka. We are only the bearers of the transcendental world. We shall never hesitate to offer all persons of the world every honor and facility they desire. We must pray to all for the boon of aptitude for the service to Krishna, and without slacking our heart services to the Lord of our hearts, we should offer due honor to all persons. Go on. I'm a bit tired. Any questions? Any discussion? Oh, the comment. Okay. Here's an interesting pastime in relationship to the appearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Tamal Krishna Goswami, I asked Srila Prabhupada, can we celebrate Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance day in the evening? Then we will have a lot of guests. Prabhupada said, no, it must be celebrated at noon. Oh, anyway. This was a Friday. I said, Friday evening we can fill up the temple. He said, no, it must be at noon. So we celebrated in Prabhupada's little room at the Sienja Boulevard Temple in Los Angeles. Prabhupada did all the prayers and spoke about his Guru Maharaj. He asked, how is the feast going? He said, how is the feast going? I said, I'll take a look. It was about 10:30 a.m. and nothing had been, I can't scroll. Okay. Yeah, and maybe that one. Yeah. So. Well, I can make the whole thing bigger. I don't know if it'll.
I'll click on this maybe?
Yeah.
I can scroll down.
Doesn't let me scroll. Anyway, I know the pastime.
Oh, you know the pastime.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, the pastime was, and I guess we're not really doing it here because we made our program for the evening. But the prasadams will be offered to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta too at noontime.
Oh,
So,
there we go. Yeah, just this call. See, 10:30. Nothing going on.
where?
It's right there.
Oh, 10:30, okay. And nothing had been done. I said, what is going on here? And started screaming. They said, you told us it was going to be Friday night. I said, Prabhupada wanted it at noon. Maybe it was my mistake for not conveying the message. I went back to Prabhupada and he said, how's it going? I said, nothing is done. Prabhupada didn't say a word. He looked at me, got up, walked out of the room, through the temple, uh, through the prasadam hall, and into the kitchen. He immediately told the devotees, get this done, get this done, cut the vegetables. He was determined that the feast to be offered by 12. In 1 hour, we personally cooked a 12-course feast for at least 17 devotees. Prabhupada,
You scroll down there.
Prabhupada made the
Scroll back up. Absolutely.
It's going here. 70 devotees. Prabhupada always said, deity worship is 1 hour's business. Cooking is 1 hour's business. One of the best things I remember about the feast was the way Prabhupada made the puris. He made each puri. He made each puri. He made each puri in hot ghee and touched it. Every puri puffed up. Perfect puris. The feast was offered, and then the whole plate was given to Prabhupada. Within 3 minutes, it came out practically untouched. We were all eating the big feast, and we saw that Prabhupada didn't eat it. He was very upset. Yes. Srila Prabhupada was very upset. He was upset, and he was showing by that example. We've already scheduled this program for tonight. It's kind of late now. I mean, we'll offer the Raj Bhoga offering will be offered.
Well, it was different back then because most people live in the temple, and now it's scheduled at 12. Nobody.
Well, that's true, but they were also expecting many devotees to come if they came at night. So most who would come apparently were probably working or something, and they would come at night. So it's probably not that much difference. I don't know.
What to do? What to do?
We've already scheduled it like that. But there will be an offering at midday. So Bhaktisiddhanta will also be offered that. And back then maybe they didn't have regular. I'm not sure what point this was. They had 8 deities in the temple, so I don't know. In any case, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta made that point. Srila Prabhupada made that point about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. He was not happy that it was not if there was not, the program was not done for at noontime. All we do is we fast half a day and eat the Mahaprasadam that was offered at noon or offered at 11:30. It's not exactly noon, or before. But next year we should at least have a regular program like that in the middle of the day. Maybe not everyone will come, and then have a separate program or an additional program at night. It wasn't mentioned here. I'm not sure how they did that. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't personally there. This is just a little before my time. This was say when.
This was probably LA.
In the Mesa and in the original New York temple. I don't recall. It's just the stories from the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. You can find it there. Yeah, but I don't know when he was. I don't know when he joined or when he was involved. It was pretty early on, though. Okay. Anyway, so Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was obviously an extraordinary personality. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta as a child, as a very young child, he one time took a piece of dried mango and ate it. That dried mango, when he was told, no, you cannot do this. This mango has not been offered to Krishna yet. Little child, Oh, so he ate it, and he was told like that. He says, oh, I am an offender. I will never eat mango again in my life. And he didn't. Even as a child, he made that strict vow that he would never eat mango again. And he liked mango. Devotees, the disciples would bring him nice mangoes, and he would say, no, I'm an offender. I cannot eat mango anymore. So extraordinary. He also had vowed to chant 1 billion holy names of the Lord. This was like his way of begging for the empowerment to carry on this mission.
But later, somebody was saying that he regretted it. He wished that he was preaching.
I believe at one point he was given some indications to just go on and preach, but there was some indication like that. So maybe he didn't finish the 1 billion holy names, only so he could preach. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur also at one point chanted 1 billion holy names. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta actually chanted on those same beats. He chanted his, and all for the same purpose, which is to get extra, empowered to carry on the mission that both of them had. I don't know. Bhaktisiddhanta, I don't know. I don't recall. I just know that he did. And Bhaktisiddhanta must have used those beads, they said, and chanted himself that many rounds, or at least he was aspiring to chant that many rounds, also for the same purpose of becoming empowered. Like that. Okay, I guess we're at the end of the period, so we'll finish here, and tomorrow I guess we continue on with Srimad Bhagavatam, and tonight we'll have our program released tonight. The feast of the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's Prasadam offering will be, the Raj Boga offering, and the Pushpanjali ceremony will be tonight. And then I think each Swaka will speak about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta then. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.